What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So we're less than 2 weeks away from Microsoft and their big Xbox game showcase, and it looks like they're starting to get things going a bit early with a tease that could be pointing towards a massive reveal, and we're going to go over all that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about an unfortunate departure at Capcom, as this is a series that I've been following forever and I was hoping would get that next big installment. And we'll also be talking about an interesting development for Nintendo, as it looks like the big Switch emulator that people talk about has found its way to a new platform. So if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure to hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And we're gonna start today with PlayStation Plus games for the month of June. And we can see this posted up over on a PlayStation blog where they did showcase the 3 titles. This, of course, is for PlayStation Plus Essential. Remember, we'll still have another announcement, probably in about a week or so, where they'll talk to us about what's up for Extra and Premium. But in this case, for Essential, we have NBA 2K23, that's PS5 and PS4, Jurassic World Evolution 2, that's PS5 and PS4, and then Trek to Yomi, PS5 and PS4. These games will be available starting June 6th, so if you have not claimed May's overall releases, I would go do that now, because they will become unavailable when these go live. And looking at the lineup here, I always look at any of these sports games. While that is the most current one, obviously 2K23, we know it's kind of on the way out with the NBA Finals now going, but seeing Jurassic World and Trek to Yomi, those are pretty cool games, and I mean, I would go through and claim all of these anyway and look towards that on June 6th. Also, we have been getting more and more information around the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, that being Metal Gear Solid Delta, and one question that's come up, as it had been rumored for a while alongside the game's existence, was that Hideo Kojima would once again be collaborating with Konami in order to create this game. Well, IGN did ask them, and we can see this posted up over on the IGN website, where they asked who is making Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and is Hideo Kojima involved? And, well, the Konami spokesperson was very straightforward. They are not involved at all. However, the development team will work hard to create this remake and also the ports for Metal Gear Solid Master Collection so that they can be enjoyed on multiple platforms by even more players all around the world. They also mentioned that Yoji Shinkawa, who was very important for the art of Metal Gear Solid, not at all involved either. So that's the thing that's made people nervous about this, is Konami's internal team, alongside of Virtuos, who is seemingly handling a lot of the art support, is going to be developing this. So it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out. But the good thing here is they have an overall structure to follow here with the original game. So they build on that, better visuals, more modernized controls and all this. They're even using basically the same audio and voices from the original game. They should at least be able to give us a more up-to-date, modernized title overall. And that's really what I'm looking forward to here, is to have, the Master Collection available everywhere possible, and then also have this really cool start, I think, to a series of remakes for all of these Metal Gear Solid games. Oh, and we did get a release date for Double Dragon Gaiden. We had this new trailer here that they showed off with the release date, that being July 27th, this releasing for PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. And I really do like the resurgence we've seen of these old school arcade classic beat 'em up styles with this aesthetic. This one is a bit more cartoony, I guess, than I would like for the Double Dragon series. It does look kind of like Scott Pilgrim, sort of like the Scott Pilgrim Saves the World, the video game, but it still looks really, really fun, and I will be checking this one out when it drops July 27th, so make sure you check it out then. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Microsoft and their Xbox game showcase, that they appear to be teasing a certain big announcement and game for that showcase. And this was posted up over on Twitter. This is just from the Xbox account saying, do you love games as much as we do? Then you won't want to miss the Xbox Games Showcase. And you can see the video here. It's about 20 seconds long, and they look down at the controller, have a bunch of glitter everywhere. Then they follow this trail of glitter to a computer monitor that shows the Xbox Games Showcase, of course, that being June 11th. Now, the other aspect to this is the music that's playing, and it seems to be the music that we've had in Fable. So you pair that with kind of the glitter or like the kind of the pixie dust that you use to track quests in Fable, and everyone obviously connecting the dots, looking at this saying, okay, they are teasing a re-reveal basically of Fable from Playground Games. If you remember, this was back mid-2020 when they had their showcase where they revealed that yes, Playground Games, the studio you've known to make these Forza Horizon games, are going to be doing the reboot essentially of the Fable franchise, that after Fable 3 was kind of it for it. There was like another Fable game that got canceled, and that ever since then, it's been very, very quiet for that franchise. So I'm excited to see it, definitely curious to see what Playground is able to do, kind of stepping out of their comfort zone and apparently also still using the Forza Tech engine for Fable. That might be the most interesting part, is to see how that adapts from an open world racing game to an open world action RPG. And I guess it being 3 years, it does kind of make sense that they would be ready to show it, because it's not like they gave us that CGI trailer and then looked around and said, okay guys, let's now get to work. They had been at least developing the game, whether it's conceptually or maybe even just straight up creating it, definitely before that trailer, probably up to a year or so. And that's the thing here, is I believe it has been in development maybe longer than people even realize or expect. So yeah, this could finally be it. We can see hopefully in-game, in-engine visuals for Fable and sort of the direction and concept that they want to have here. And that's the biggest thing right now for Microsoft. Last year, they put themselves in this situation where they came out and said, hey, that everything you see will be coming out in the next 12 months. And we know that's not the case because Starfield isn't out yet. Hollow Knight Silksong, not out yet. Technically, they got Redfall out there, but they probably should have let that miss the deadline as well. So in this case, if they are not at all comfortable or confident in a release date, a release window, anything when it comes to the game coming out, don't even mention it. Most people, if they can see something more tangible than a CGI trailer, like an in-engine, in-game, at least showing of it, I think that'll be enough, because, again, we're all really curious as to what Fable will look like, and there's a lot of people who are excited just to see this series make a return. But this has definitely raised the bar for expectations with this showcase. Does that mean that other games that have gone kind of quiet now could also be shown here? Would Perfect Dark or Everwild or State of Decay 3 be there alongside of Fable? And will we get everything set up for the holiday with Forza coming alongside of Starfield? I think they are going to at least have that fourth quarter set up nicely with those two titles, but does that mean that we could also see Hellblade 2 getting set up for the first half of 2024, and then maybe Fable could actually come out the holiday of 2024, and they start to set things up with that cadence they were looking for, with one major release every single quarter? This could seriously be the big moment for Xbox, where they start to get things on track for this generation. So exciting stuff there. Looking forward to, not this weekend, the following weekend, June 11th, to see what they have. Next up, let's talk about a departure at Capcom that could actually affect the future of the Mega Man franchise. And it's unfortunate because it looks like Mega Man was actually on a bit of an upswing now, being more popular in terms of sales than ever before, but we can see this posted over on Rockman Corner, where they say Mega Man series producer Kazuhiro Tsuchiya departs Capcom. And I think it's important to note that they were working as producer for Street Fighter 6, and Street Fighter 6 is coming out this Friday, so tomorrow, and at that point, they've wrapped that up with their latest big project. They might be looking around saying, hey, I'm good here. I think they've been working in the games industry for like 20 some odd years, 25 years, something like that. So this could legitimately just be, well, I'm not going to start another big project as I'm already thinking about retirement. So it's kind of time to ride off into the sunset after a lot of major accomplishments, some even being more recent with the Mega Man series. As I mentioned, seeing a bit of a resurgence here. Mega Man 11 is actually the best-selling Mega Man game ever released, which sounds weird because you go back and think about all of the Mega Man games on the NES, Mega Man X, on the Super Nintendo, on the PlayStation, of course, Mega Man Zero that released, Mega Man Battle Network. I mean, the list goes on and on and on for games that they have released for the Mega Man franchise, but most recently, it's become even more popular. Think of Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection that shipped over 1 million units in its first 2 weeks on sale. And a lot of this was under Kazuhiro, who really took Mega Man, like I said, to the next level. And it does make me think that Capcom is starting to look at Mega Man like, okay, we are making a lot of money elsewhere right now. Capcom has been on a roll when it comes to some of these franchises. You think of, obviously, like Resident Evil, Street Fighter most recently, Monster Hunter. They could look at Mega Man and say, hey, can we take this franchise and elevate it like we're doing with these other big game series? And that's what I would like to see with the Mega Man formula, them work out how they can do that. It just becomes tough because it is a 2D game, but with what we've seen with something like Metroid Dread, if it's high quality, it's fun, and there's an interesting game there to be played, I think people would pay the full price for it, as long as it doesn't come out, like I said, and look like it didn't really have a lot put into it when it comes to development. And for me, Mega Man X9 is what I would like to see released, but I understand there are other games that they could do, especially something like the Battle Network series that clearly is still popular. They could just go to Mega Man 12 to follow up Mega Man 11, or maybe they revive something like Mega Man Legends 3, that could certainly get a lot of value there as an RPG with an extended playtime and world to explore. Technically, they still have a legacy collection they can do, though, with Mega Man Legends 1, 2, and the Misadventures of Tronbon. And I think a lot of people would get a kick out of that one, especially if towards the end you unlock something in the museum that maybe talks about that Mega Man Legends 3 demo that was showcased at one point. So a lot of possibilities here for Capcom, but now that we see the series producer, most recently for Mega Man, depart, it does make me wonder about the future for the Blue Bomber. Next up, let's talk about an interesting release that Nintendo, I'm sure, is keeping their eyes on, because technically it's for the Switch, if you wanted to play your Switch on your Android phone or tablet. This was posted up by Yuzu over on their website, where they say, hey there, Yuzuers? Is that what the fans of the emulator call? Okay. We are happy to announce that Yuzu is available today for Android. There's so much to discuss and show you. Let's get started. And they go through everything in this post here. They even show screenshots. We'll go with Skyrim. I don't even know if I'm going to show a screenshot of Zelda here, but they have a screenshot of Skyrim from the Switch being played on your phone, which what a time to be alive. You can play Skyrim on your phone. But they do go over some of the system specs that they would like you to have to play Yuzu decently well, as something like, yeah, Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom playing in the teens for frame rate, depending on your build. But if you have, they mentioned like a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or preferably Gen 2, mentioning 8 gigabytes of RAM, which again, what a time to be alive when our phones have those kind of specifications, you can expect pretty good frame rate, but this is still early on, and they're going to spend quite a bit of time working to develop this. And I did see some people on social media like Twitter be really annoyed at this whole thing. Some were even tagging Nintendo, and it's, guys, they know about Yuzu. The thing is, though, there's not a lot they can do about Yuzu, because emulators are legal. The thing that's going on with Dolphin, Nintendo still hasn't really struck them or come after them, even though those Wii common keys were part of that with circumvention for decrypting the games and stuff. But I'm sure they've been incredibly vigilant when it comes to Yuzu or Ryujinx or any of that, looking through it as much as they can, and there's just not a lot there they can do. So it is interesting to see Yuzu get moved and released on Android devices, because technically it's a portable system like the Switch. Really the thing here is the experience isn't going to be as good, because if you've tried to use touchscreen controls with any of these devices, with these really your phone or your tablet, not great, but I guess you could sync up a controller and use that just fine. This would be more or less in a pinch, I guess, but I'm sure there are plenty of people out there looking at this saying, oh wow, I can now just play these Switch games using this emulator on my phone. I guess I'll live with these controls and do that. I'm just more interested to see the development around Switch emulation and kind of the progress that the Yuzu team has been able to make now with it appearing on your actual cell phone. And I'm also curious with Nintendo, I'm sure, being very aware of a lot of this stuff and emulation going into their next system if they throw a few roadblocks in there when it comes to the development of what will most likely be a much more custom chip than the very basic X1 that they had in that original Switch, and if it's something that has this kind of success from all these different groups when it comes to creating that emulator. I guess time will tell there, but for now, hey, if you want to play Switch games on your phone, or at least see what your phone can do when it comes to frame rate around some of these games, the emulator is up now on the Android store. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about some information that's been getting out there around Apple's VR headset that they are apparently poised to announce next week during WWDC, or Worldwide Developers Conference, this happening June 5th. We can see this posted over on Twitter from Ross Young, who's very good when it comes to some of these technical leaks, especially when it comes to some of the specifications around hardware, saying micro OLED specs for Apple's AR, augmented reality, or VR, virtual reality headset. 1.41 inch in diagonal. Those will be kind of the pieces inside of the headset that you'll look through the lenses. 4,000 pixel per inch, or PPI. 5,000 nits of brightness, looking at 4K per eye. Now, the 5,000 nits, people will of course argue and go back and forth on this because you don't get the entire 5,000 nits when you're then also looking through some of these very thick lenses. However, that's still pretty bright for a VR headset. Now, the idea here is it's Apple, so they're trying to do things their own way, which apparently includes them having like a clip for your belt that will house an M2 processor, which is very impressive. I'm sure this headset will be incredibly capable when it comes to really productivity, gaming even, all kinds of stuff there. But then also they'll offload the battery onto that, so I'm wondering how they're going to make that happen. I guess you'll have a cable come from the headset down to something you wear on your belt, but it will be an all-in-one device. So similar to what you see with the Quest, you won't be tethered to any other machine, a PC, a PlayStation 5, anything like that. But the pricing will be the other part. So this should be the most low-profile headset we've had because this doesn't have a processor or any of that in the headset itself, that of course being strapped to your belt. But the price is rumored to be anywhere from $2,000 upwards of $3,000. So this is going to release as that first enthusiast level device. And apparently next year they could have a revision or one that might be a bit more budget friendly, which for Apple means it'll probably be like $1,500 and might even be using the M3 then, or a cut down M3. So interesting stuff here. And yeah, at this point, I would expect Apple to take the stage next week, WWDC on June 5th, and tell us all about this new headset. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're gonna take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked, what game would you like to see next in the Mega Man series? That 28% said Mega Man X9. Good job, everyone. 26% say, I've never played a Mega Man game before. Okay, bad job, everyone. No, it's 26%. Hey, you know what? There's always time. There's legacy collections all over the place. Check them out. See what you think. Mega Man Legends 3 at 17%, tied with Mega Man 12 at 17%. And then, interestingly enough, only 11% said a new Mega Man Battle Network game. That's odd because it's very popular, clearly. It's sold incredibly well and will probably end up being the best-selling Mega Man game of all time, a legacy collection. But I think Capcom is getting the message here, and it seems like if they go Mega Man 11, you feel like they might go to Mega Man X, then go back to Mega Man for Mega Man 12. And that's kind of the cadence I'd like to see here, but who knows? Maybe now that they've seen the sales for the Battle Network franchise, they're looking to pivot a bit, and instead of going to Mega Man 12, maybe they go to Mega Man Battle Network, something there, a new one, and or maybe they shelve Mega Man X9 and it's 12 and then new Battle Network. There's a lot of things they can do with the Mega Man franchise. I just hope there are plans somewhere in Capcom to do something new there. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Jimmy, who says, I find it hard to believe we will get any next-gen information before January if Nintendo were to announce a new system in August or September. I feel like it would come out this year. Otherwise, if they announce it for March, their holiday sales will probably take a big hit. That being said, I think we'll get some kind of hardware reveal in December, January, with a March release date. So they potentially could do that, where they announce it in the fall or maybe later on, like October or November, with a trailer, and they say, hey, we'll tell you all about this thing in January or February to kick off the year, and then we will look to launch it in the spring. Or they could go back to a more traditional run-up and release where they tell us about it in the first quarter of the year, and they spend the rest of that year running up to an October or November release, marketing, talking about all kinds of stuff, showing off games. It is going to be interesting to see how Nintendo approaches this because the Switch has been incredibly successful for them. There's a chance it could go on to be the best-selling system for them ever made, and that might include the DS, depending on how they navigate the last year or so of the Switch being their primary device. So all eyes on Nintendo definitely as we head towards the holidays, but it wouldn't shock me if we don't find out anything about this new system from them in 2023, and they look to really start talking about this to kick off 2024. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below, but everything we talked about here today was Xbox seemingly teasing Fable for that showcase. Do you think it's gonna appear there? And then also, what about Yuzu on Android? Have you tried it yet on your phone? And then what about Mega Man? Would you like to see a new game in the series? And if so, which direction do you want Capcom to take it? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.